Nazareth was a small village, an insignificant place. God delights in choosing the insignificant places and people to work in and through. Nazareth, Bethlehem, Mary, Joseph. In the Old Testament, Moses, who couldn't speak very well. David, whose father didn't think it was worthwhile calling him in from the fields for Samuel to anoint. Ruth, Esther, Gideon, who was hiding away from his enemies when God called him a mighty warrior. God delights in taking the weak things of the world to demonstrate his glory. Jesus chose fishermen, the bottom of the social pile type guys, to be his disciples, telling them, I will make you fishers of men. Yes, they would be fruitful disciples, but it was Jesus working in them who would bring about the catch, men and women. Paul wrote these words from his own experience of what God told him. My grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness. Which leads us to our next topic, what it means to be a disciple. Having moved from Nazareth, Jesus set up his base in Capernaum. He was rejected by the people of Nazareth, so he moves to Capernaum on the northern shores of the Sea of Galilee, and here he starts to gather around him a group of followers, his disciples. Now it was common for rabbis to do this, but they usually chose other sorts of people than the likes of Peter and James and John and Andrew. At school, I wasn't much good at sport. And if someone was choosing people to be on their team, guess who was one of the last to be chosen? But we had a PE teacher who would often quote Jesus' words. The first shall be last, the last shall be first. Many are called, but few are chosen. He had a very idiosyncratic way of saying it. I won't do it the way he did. But I am glad that when it comes to the really important team to be on, I've been chosen by God to be on that team. Andrew Walton talks about how rabbis chose their disciples. Fishermen, as I said earlier, would not have been a rabbi's natural choice. But Jesus said, follow me, I will make you fishers of men. From now, in other words, from now on, you'll be catching men and women rather than fish. So what do? They leave the family business to follow Jesus. Now, this wasn't a jolly. And not by any means. It involved commitment. It involved sacrifice. And for some of them, farther down the line, even death was what they would meet. Andrew's illustration about dust on the road speaks of closeness, intimacy between Jesus and his followers. At the end of his earthly ministry, Jesus made a startling comment. He called his disciples friends. And friendship involves love, commitment, time spent together. In the 21st century, disciples can experience closeness with Jesus by the Holy Spirit, as he reveals truth, enables us to worship, empowers us for service. Being a disciple in the 21st century means doing what Jesus did. And whilst it involves leaving behind the past, it leads to an exciting future with Jesus.